In Matthew 13, it says, "On that day, Jesus began to teach in parables." On what day was that? That was the very same day of Matthew chapter 12 that we discussed earlier, the national rejection of the messiahship of Jesus based on demon possession, also known as the unpardonable sin. There are three reasons that Jesus will now teach in parables. Number one, to illustrate the truth of the mystery kingdom age to his disciples. Number two, it will be to hide the truth from the masses. And number three, it was prophesied, so to fulfill prophecy that said at some point the Messiah was going to teach in parables. We need to define the kingdom of God before we look at the parables. So the kingdom of God or the kingdom of heaven, those are synonymous terms. They mean the same thing, they represent the same thing. The reason why Matthew chooses to use kingdom of heaven versus kingdom of God is due to Jewish sensibilities. You may or may not know that they do not like to say the name of God or even write it out in certain circumstances. And that's why Matthew chooses kingdom of heaven versus God. It's a multifaceted kingdom. There's the universal kingdom, which is the sovereign rule of God over everything in all eternity. The spiritual kingdom, which is the rule of God in the heart of the believers. The theocratic kingdom, which would be the rule of God over his chosen people, the nation of Israel. The messianic kingdom, which was offered by Yeshua in the first century, is the reign of the Messiah over all the earth from Jerusalem upon the throne of David. And the mystery kingdom is a temporary kingdom that we now live in that's going to be described by these parables. And the best term that we can use is Christendom. So what's going to happen, what we've been experienced from the first century on until today, is described by the kingdom of heaven parables.